Hey, what's up everyone? I hope that you're all having a lovely day and welcome to my 100 heads challenge video. Today I'll be showing you my progression through the 100 head challenge from start to finish and how I felt about the overall challenge and progress. For this challenge I used a Pinterest board which I will link down below for anyone that's interested. Not all 100 photos were available on the Pinterest board though, so I think maybe like 10 weren't, and I just ended up like outsourcing these from other Pinterest pages and that. I'm going to say right off the bat before I even start this video as well that I did not do this challenge in 10 days, which I believe the challenge is most commonly done in. It probably took me like 2 weeks I think to do this, and then some extra time as well to like edit and create this video. After taking this long on the challenge, I was actually doubting myself in even posting this video. I felt bad not managing to do it in the 10 days, but I decided, fuck it. I wanted to show what I'd done regardless. I think it's important too that if people have been wanting to do this challenge, but the 10 days has been daunting, or they just know it's not possible because they have other stuff going on like school or work or other commitments, that people should still do it if they want to, and they shouldn't let time be the thing that resists them. Because I think if you want to do it, you don't have to do it in the time constraint. It's a learning process, and so long as you're enjoying it and feeling like it's a good progress for you and process, that's all that matters. So despite this challenge taking longer than the intended 10 days, I still wanted to show you guys the process and how I felt about it. I worked hard on this challenge and wanted to share my experience and my results with you no matter what. Because after all, it's a challenge that allows you to grow your skills, and sometimes forcing it to happen in such a short time frame as well just isn't possible. Like, stunts the ability to actually learn the whole thing you're doing the challenge for. Of course, some people have done this challenge in 10 days, and like, props to you, it's amazing and really impressive, but we're all different. Everyone's different, our lives are different, our ability to draw fast is different, our ways of learning are different, so I think it's reasonable to still try this challenge in more than 10 days if you feel like the 10 days would actually be more limiting to you than something that would drive you or something that would end up being an actual positive. I certainly know that when I did try and do this challenge initially, thinking I'm going to do it for the 10 days and do 10 heads a day, immediately I felt burnt out, and I was like, this is just not possible, like I need to be more realistic, this is something I'm going to probably do for longer, and I just let myself do that because when I started letting myself draw when I wanted to is rather than forcing it so much, I felt way more happier, and I actually felt like I was focusing a lot more on what I was drawing and taking away experience that I would never have done if I was rushing it. So like I learned more about the face and painting and drawing and line work as well. And speaking of doing the 100 head challenge in more than 10 days, I actually even seen a hashtag on Instagram where some people do like the 100 heads in 100 days. I think that's a completely separate challenge though, but just in case no one was aware of it and like the time constraint thing of the 10 days was daunting, or maybe it's because you really want to focus more so on your painting abilities which take longer in general, like that's always an option, and from what it seems like you just do one head a day. I think that sounds like a really cool idea. I might even do it myself so I can focus more on painting skills or like brush pen skills and stuff. So for the first 2 days of this challenge, I stuck in quite strong by doing 10 heads each day, and for that part I done 5 on the Procreate app on my iPad, and I also done 5 in my sketchbook. This was really interesting. I think I purely just done this because I hadn't used my sketchbook in ages, and usually when you see everyone's like really aesthetic like 100 head challenges, it's all in their sketchbooks and it looks really really lovely, so I wanted to give that a go. But I've had so much more time practicing on my iPad than I have actually on my sketchbook that the iPad just comes more naturally to me. So in the end, after the 2 days, I just ended up sticking to doing all of the heads in my iPad from that point onwards. I did sort of branch out on the second day, and I started to use coloured pencils and then also use brush pens and markers over them just to sort of add more like stronger lines and details. There was also another reason why I also doubted putting this video up, not just the fact that the challenge took me more than 10 days, but it was also how much I genuinely hated some of my drawings. Like, I would be cringing at my drawings, and I was so embarrassed, to be completely honest. I couldn't even show my boyfriend Finley them half the time without claiming that I'd rushed them, or that was like the reason that they were bad, but it just wasn't true. The truth was, they went bad because they were bad drawings, and it was mainly down to the fact that the face was in new angles I'd never drawn before, or there was different features that were more prominent or less prominent that I'd never practiced before. And all that really meant was that there was more to be learnt from this drawing process with these faces, with unique features and new angles that I'd never done before. But despite this, I stuck through with the challenge because even though I was doubting even posting it, I still felt I had to do this challenge and see it through and just learn and have the experience of doing this challenge for myself, even if it meant I wasn't going to post it. But in the end, what changed my mind about posting the video was when I got to the very end of this challenge, and I realised that in the process, you aren't always going to like your drawings. In fact, a lot of the time you might hate your drawings or paintings, but I think that's almost like a part of the process in getting better. We know we don't like the drawings because we know that we have the skills and ability to do better, but having that bad drawing gives us the opportunity to observe what went wrong so that the next time we can do better. Doing a bad drawing allows us to learn and grow as an artist. This is me on the last face that I officially do in the sketchbook before I move entirely onto Procreate. At this point, I'd started to develop a process that I felt the most comfortable with when it came to doing the faces. It was sort of a mix of what I had learnt from learning about faces and stuff from Bridgman, and also, what's his name? Andrew Loomis. So if you don't know who they are, they're artists that have quite a few books about the sort of like human anatomy and also like the heads and stuff. It gives you a really good base if you're looking to get sort of more realistic or accurate proportions in the face and stuff like that. One thing I did notice from studying Andrew Loomis though is that afterwards a lot of my heads would look really manly, but that's mainly because Andrew Loomis in his heads book goes over mostly the male face. So this is something I had to end up figuring out, like how to make the face look more feminine and just stuff like that. It's still something I struggle with, and I even now struggle to make like more masculine faces as well. I noticed that a lot of it came down to sort of like line work. Like generally the women had more sort of like curved lines and soft lines, and the men had more angular ones, and that helped to sort of differentiate and help it make it look more noticeable as well. Something that I learned quite early on in this process was it was important for me to not compare myself to other people doing this challenge, or other artists as well. I often beat myself up quite a lot because I look at other people's work and I'm like, it's so good and mine is so terrible, to the point where it's almost like I feel like I shouldn't even be doing the art at all, like somehow I'm not worthy of it. But something that I realised was important for me was to understand that it's a learning process and everyone's on their own journey. So my art, sure, it might look like not polished as some of the other artists out there, but it's just because I'm at my own part in my own journey, and they're at their stage in their journey as well. I think if comparing yourselves to others is something that you do a lot, it's important to remember that we're all just going through our own lives and our own journey for art as well, and we're not all going to have the same style either. We might just so happen to have an entirely different style, but we really like that other person's style. But this shouldn't stop us. We should feel comfortable learning and experimenting and not always having the best drawing, because in the end, we're all just learning and practicing our own skills and our own style as well to make us like a better artist. So I think now it's maybe like my 4th day of doing heads at this point. I've been doing them for quite a few days, but I had always noticed at the start it was almost like I was kind of rusty because I wasn't doing anything to warm up. That is 100% something I would recommend to people that are wanting to do this challenge. Warm up, because like I didn't do any sort of drawing warm up exercises before this, and I just felt like it ended up making the first 1 or 2 heads just really bad. Just by drawing exercises, you could do anything. Like you could just draw lines and try and make them parallel, or do like ellipses and stuff, or just like anything to sort of warm up your wrist and like your observation to what you're drawing as well. On this day, there started to be a lot more faces that I was really not comfortable doing. Like there was loads of ones with really weird features, almost like cartoonish and stuff, and it kind of made me frustrated because I was like, I don't want to even know how to draw like that, but I just pushed through with it anyway because I was like, it's a learning experience and it's right there. Like I can't be bothered finding another photo, so I'll just do it. And I'm glad I did, to be honest. Like it was fun to just sort of play around with faces with really different features. I kind of noticed that because the reference was so weird, if my drawing looked weird as well, I wasn't really that bothered by it. And it means that when I go to like do faces from imagination, I'll have more of a reference to pull from now as well. At this point in the challenge, I realised I wasn't even halfway through yet, and just how much more there was left to do. And it would really frustrate me sometimes because I'd see ones that I was drawing and I just absolutely hated how they looked, and I was like, how am I not improving? Like, why am I not improving? But I feel like art is one of those things where you could be doing it every day and almost swear that you're not making any noticeable improvements or changes. But then once you look back, you notice that you really have. I feel looking back now, I can see how much more comfortable I was drawing and how much looser I was as well about it, which is something I never really noticed during the process. Like, Finlay would point it out to me and other people would as well, but I just wouldn't see it. And I think that's important if you're looking to do this challenge or any challenge, or even if you're at art school right now or learning yourself and it's almost like you're losing the motivation and you can't see any progress being made and you feel like almost like giving up. It's important to remind yourself that you are making progress. Just because you can't see it right now doesn't mean it's not happening. And sometimes when I feel like that, I'll actually look back to drawings I done a few years ago and I'll just compare them to the work I do now and see how much I've improved and developed over the few years. This is something I would recommend if sometimes you feel like that. It can really help to look back at your old work and be proud of how far you've came and how much effort you've put into your art and how much you've developed along the way. I'm now roughly about halfway through, sort of like 50 out of 100 at this point. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the video running. I'll speed it up a bit as well, just so it runs a bit quicker, and just let you guys sort of watch the process, and I'll come back and talk at the end of the video. this point, I was nearing the last 10 heads of the 100 heads challenge, and I thought that I might as well end by practicing some of my painting skills with the faces. So for this, my main focus was on the proportions of the face and also just making the shading and values work well. I found this quite interesting, and I am actually glad I really done it because it allowed me to focus not just on my line work and monochromatic shading from all the previous days, but it allowed me to also work with the painting and sort of understand it better as well. So, now for my opinion and takeaway from this challenge. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I think I would honestly recommend it. However, I would recommend it without the worry of time constraint. I would just do it to enjoy it and enjoy the learning process. It is very challenging and exhaustive and can definitely make you burn out. And I noticed a lot of other YouTubers that I've seen do this challenge also talk about burnout as well, and almost like ended up not wanting to draw. So I think that's something important to keep in mind if you're planning to do this challenge, is that it can be really testing on just your want and ability to draw. I am happy I done it though. I feel like I draw faces with a lot more ease now, and I can pick up on a lot more issues that I never would have picked up on before. So it definitely has been a massive learning experience for me that I never probably would have learned as quickly as I would have if I didn't do this challenge. If I could do this again, I think I would be a lot more set from the beginning on what it would be that I'd be focusing on. Would it be just line work? Would it be quick 5-minute studies? Would it be shading work? Would it be full-blown painted pieces? And work from that realistically how long I think I need time-wise to complete the challenge. This really isn't something I had thought of beforehand. I just went right in and just went for it because I really wanted to do it. And I think having that lack of preparation and awareness of being realistic about the challenge, of how testing and difficult it really would be. I mean, for the people that do it in 10 days, like, I'm so impressed. Like, I only wish I would have had the ability to even do that, or the patience as well. This is my results from the 100 heads challenge, closer up, right from day 1 to, well, like day 14 technically, but all 100, from 1 to 100. I really hope that if you stuck it out this far to the end of the video that you enjoyed watching, and that if you've been considering doing the 100 head challenge but aren't too sure, that this is maybe gave you more like ideas of how to do it in a way that would be more comfortable to you. Thank you for watching my experience and also my opinions on this challenge. And if you want to share your work as well, feel free to like sort of plug your social medias in the comments below, because I would love to check it out. That is it for this video today. I'll be back next week for another video. I'm not too sure what yet, but I'm always open to suggestions, and I will see you all next Monday. Bye!